Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it by going through every season in the Super Bowl era and hopefully improving upon it. We simply spin a wheel with all the teams' names on it, then spin an arrow to see what direction they will take from their place on the map. Landing on another team's territory will give us that game. For a more thorough breakdown of how imperialism works, be sure to check out the beginning of our initial video of the 1966 season. That is linked down in the description below. Beneath that is a link to the imperialism playlist consisting of all completed imperialism seasons to date. Otherwise, we are ready to start. We're getting into the 2011 season, and if there was any proof necessary that a fluke can happen twice, one need look no further than the New York Giants of both 2007 and this season. The Giants won the laughably weak NFC East with a 9-7 record, but on top of that, they were actually outscored on the season. Yet they got somewhat hot during the playoffs, got every single bounce in their favor, and they won the Super Bowl. And in both instances, they defeated the New England Patriots in the big game. New England wasn't undefeated this time, but they were still good, yet couldn't get through this anti-juggernaut. They averaged more than 32 points per game this season. The Giants allowed 25, but they only scored 17. That combination's not as bad as it was in 07, but it's still really bad. Naturally, the Giants are nowhere near the top 5, with the Patriots coming in second behind the horribly unlucky New Orleans Saints, ranking first for the second time in 3 seasons. The 49ers make their triumphant return, with the 15-1 Packers only able to secure the 3rd spot. The St. Louis Rams are in the bottom 5 for the 5th straight season, but they're spared the bottom spot by the Indianapolis Colts, who fell apart with the absence of Peyton Manning, the rare quarterback who actually did carry his team. It's time to take this to the field. Imperialism 2011 begins now. Our first game this season is going to involve our reigning Imperialism champions. The Oakland Raiders will play host to the San Diego Chargers. We're tied up at 7 in the second quarter. The Raiders are marching. From the Charger 29-yard line, Michael Bush is met in the backfield, but he breaks the tackle, and he breaks away. He's getting down inside the 10, drags a guy, breaks several more tackles. He was on a one-man mission to get in the end zone. Mission accomplished. The Raiders take a 14-7 lead. With time remaining in the first half, the Chargers have driven it down to the 4-yard line on 3rd and goal. Phillip Rivers is going to find Malcolm Floyd. He's covered, but he'll make the catch, tying things up at 14. That's where we're going to be in the second half. In fact, now we're in the fourth quarter. The Chargers have it at their own 40-yard line. The pitch goes to Mike Tolbert. He's been bottled up all day, but not this run. He breaks a couple tackles, and he's showing some moves as well. What a great play by Tolbert. Gets it all the way down inside the 20. But the Raiders are able to force a field goal attempt. This is Nick Novak from 27 yards out. It is true. The Chargers take a 17-14 lead. The Raiders now quickly get it past midfield. It's second down. The Chargers bring the house. Carson Palmer gets the pass off to Darius Hayward-Bay, making an important catch. But now the Raiders are falling to 3rd and 18. They're going to play it safe. The pitch goes to Marcel Reese. He gets through 3 different guys, gets them into field goal range, and they will bring out Sebastian Janikowski with 1:30 left on the clock. This is from 43. We know he has the leg. Does he have the accuracy? He puts it up. He puts it through. We're tied at 17, and this season's first game in Imperialism is heading to overtime, tied up at 17 all. The Chargers get it first. They're outside of field goal range on 3rd and very short, but Phillip Rivers looks like he wants to take a shot deep. That's Vincent Jackson, makes the catch, and just like that, this game's gonna be over. The back and forth action ends here. Vincent Jackson's 42-yard touchdown in overtime gives the Chargers a 23-17 victory. The Raiders' improbable run to the title last year will not be repeated, at least not by them. The Chargers will take over their territory, and they now own the majority of California. Our next spin of the wheel is going to give us a common early land. That is the Atlanta Falcons. They're going to head down south to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Falcons find themselves tied at 17 in the third quarter. They're all the way back at their own 25, but Matt Ryan throws a deep pass. Roddy White has to dive to make the catch. He gets up and runs with it. Had that been a better pass, he likely scores right there. He'll settle for the 63-yard gain. And on the very next play, the reverse will go to White, cuts through two guys, scores the touchdown. And for the first time in this game, the Falcons lead 24-17. They found themselves down 14-0 in the first quarter. They make the comeback and win this game 31-17. Indeed, the Falcons survived that first quarter where they had 3 turnovers. They're just a lot more talented than Jacksonville is at this point in time. They will take over the Jaguars' territory, adding the Florida Panhandle to the rest of Georgia. The bottom-ranked Colts are going to be taking the field. They're heading to Detroit to face the Lions. Still a tight game in the fourth quarter. The Lions lead 10-3. Deep in their own territory, Matt Stafford goes deep to Calvin Johnson. How do you leave that guy alone? They're giving chase. They grab him at the 4, but he knocks the defender away. He breaks the plane of the goal line for the touchdown. That will give the Lions a 17-3 lead. They poured it on in the fourth quarter. Johnson scores 3 touchdowns. The Lions win 31-3. The Colts did well to hang in as long as they could, but they now become the first invading force to fail in their mission. The Lions will take over the Colts' territory moving on in the game. The Detroit Lions are being brought right back onto the field. This time they're taking to the road to face the Chicago Bears. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter. The Lions are in the red zone. The Bears bring the house, but Matthew Stafford finds Calvin Johnson. Who else? His second touchdown of the game. The Lions now lead 14-7. The Bears have some offense too, though. They've taken it down to the Lion 22-yard line. We're getting near the 2-minute warning. Jay Cutler will find Roy Williams, the former Lion. He gets his way into the end zone. That's going to tie things up at 14 apiece. But the Bears did leave some clock for Detroit. They have taken it down to the Chicago 28-yard line, under a minute to go. Matthew Stafford drops back. Who is he looking for here? Calvin Johnson, his second consecutive 3-touchdown game. He's done this before halftime. 21-14, Detroit leads. The Bears now have it just inside their own 50-yard line. Jay Cutler is going to look deep for Johnny Knox. He's had himself a nice game. He gets it down near the 20-yard line. On the very next play, the Bears have it on first down with Devin Hester in the backfield. He'll take the handoff up the middle. The Lions weren't expecting that. He gets through, turns on the Jets to score the touchdown. This game is now tied up at 21 apiece. The Lions get it back and they've moved it down slowly to the 31-yard line. Direct snap goes to Keelan Williams, in for the injured Maurice Morris, and he's just barely cut down at the 13-yard line. Detroit now faces second and goal from the 3-yard line. Stafford has time in the pocket, but that time is evaporating, and it's Israel Idonije with the sack, setting the Lions up with a third and goal from the 12. Stafford's going to drop back to pass again. Maybe he hears footsteps. He starts running. He doesn't get very far. So on 4th and goal, the ageless wonder, Jason Hanson, from 27 yards out. That kick is good. The Lions take the lead. Their defense takes over. The Bears only have it at their own 15-yard line. Under a minute to go. Jay Cutler's starting to run. Not sure what he's trying to accomplish here, but Justin Durant is able to strip the ball loose. The Lions recover. They run out the clock, and they go into Chicago and escape with a 24-21 victory. This is a good Lions team that made the playoffs and only fell to our number 1 ranked team. But the way Calvin Johnson's playing right now, they have to be considered a threat going forward, even this early in the game. They will take over the territory of the Chicago Bears, and they are slowly starting to circle Lake Michigan. We're ready for our next matchup. The wheel will give us the Tennessee Titans. They're going to be sent just about directly east. That's going to hit the territory of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have used their excellent run game to get the ball down to the 4-yard line. They now use play action. Rookie Cam Newton is going to find Steve Smith for the touchdown. As the first quarter is set to expire, the Panthers get out to a 7-0 lead. That run game is coming in handy again. They've taken it to the 32-yard line. This is D'Angelo Williams right up the middle. No one's going to be able to catch him. Carolina now jumps out to a 14-0 lead with not that much time left in the first half. But there's just enough time for Tennessee to mount a drive. With 30 seconds remaining, they're at the Carolina 3-yard line. Up the middle goes Chris Johnson for the touchdown. A very important play there for Tennessee as they get back into this game at 14-7. We now zoom ahead to the fourth quarter. The Titans at their own 40 face a 4th and 1 out of the shotgun. Chris Johnson will take it. Not a big gain, but a first down. Tennessee has now moved up to the 36-yard line. They're facing 3rd and 4. No short run this time. Matt Hasselbeck finds Nate Washington, who runs it in for the touchdown. This game was looking rather bleak for the Titans, but they get that touchdown, and they're able to tie things up at 14 apiece. Except that they want to go for 2. They must be feeling some kind of momentum here. Tennessee taking a big chance, lining up at the 2-yard line. They've got Chris Johnson. They're going to use him. The pitch works, and the Titans have now taken a 15-14 lead. Carolina's on its heels. 3rd and 5. Cam Newton's pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. So with a minute 2 left on 4th down, they need these yards. Newton throws a swing pass to D'Angelo Williams, rushed and unnecessary. The Titans pull off a surprise here, winning this game 15-14. The Titans went on an incredible run to the Imperialism title game last season. Might some of that magic still be remaining? They will take over the territory of the Panthers, and they are now the 4th team in 5 tries to successfully invade their opponent. Let's see who's next. The wheel's going to get right past the Ravens and hit the Rams. They're going to go northeast, so for the 3rd time now, the Detroit Lions are going to be taking the field. They'll be hosting the Rams. The first 2 games were the Calvin Johnson show, and this game, it's the Brandon Pettigrew show. He will make this deep touchdown reception. This was a tied game at this point. It was 7-7. That touchdown made it 14-7, but the wheels are going to completely fall off the Rams wagon here. Detroit winds up slaughtering them 56-7. A more balanced effort from the Lions this time, but Johnson did score 1 touchdown. Detroit will take over the Rams' territory, and while they haven't been facing the stiffest competition, the Colts and the Rams are the 2 bottom teams, they're getting the job done. We're getting our first matchup of 2 teams who have already played. The Tennessee Titans go to Atlanta to face the Falcons. The Titans are moving the ball. They've gotten it down to 2nd and goal at the 7-yard line. Matt Hasselbeck will drop back, find slot receiver Lavelle Hawkins for the touchdown. The Titans have gone into Atlanta and taken a 7-0 lead. But Atlanta's offense, of course, is quite dynamic. They've got it down at the 5-yard line. The direct snap goes to Michael Turner. He's able to dodge a couple of would-be tacklers, getting the touchdown back for Atlanta. We're now tied up at 7 apiece. The Falcons defense gets them the ball back. We're still in the first quarter. They have it at the Tennessee 13-yard line. Matt Ryan will find his slot receiver, Harry Douglas. That will put Atlanta back into the lead at 14-7. The Titans will threaten in the second quarter, but only get 2 field goals, so it's now 14-3 in the third. The Falcons are in the red zone again. This is going to be a reverse to Roddy White. He has plenty of space. They start to converge. They get him down, but not before he scores. So the Falcons put a little more distance between them and Tennessee. The score is now 21-13. Still an 8-point game after an exchange of field goals, but the Titans are on the move. Hasselbeck finds Lavelle Hawkins again, gets away from a few different tacklers. A 21-yard gain. We only got 1:31 left in the game. Now 1:15 to go. The Titans are in shotgun. The Falcons change it up. Tennessee calls an audible. They're going to give it to Mr. Reliable, Chris Johnson. He dives in for the touchdown. Okay, Tennessee won their last game on a 2-point conversion. Now in this one, they're going to need another one just to tie things up. They will indeed keep the offense on the field. Chris Johnson got the 2 last time. He got the touchdown this time. Will they go to him again? They do up the middle, and this game is tied up. And for the second time this season, we're heading to overtime. Atlanta and Tennessee tied at 24. Tennessee got the ball first, but the Falcons defense gets it back. Matt Ryan's going to look for Julio Jones, get some yards after the catch, a hurdle. They are at the edge of field goal range. They have it at the 34-yard line. It's now 2nd down. Time ticking away in OT. This pass goes to Eric Weems. Makes a diving reception in for the injured Harry Douglas. And with that time ticking away, the Falcons are going to bring Matt Bryant out for the game-winning field goal if he makes it from 36 yards out. They put some pressure on. He gets the kick through, and it is in. And with that kick, the Falcons win in overtime, 27-24. The Titans have certainly been a fun team over the last 2 Imperialisms. We're gonna miss them. The Falcons will take over their territory, and they've got their second win, only trailing Detroit with 3. The wheel lands on the Miami Dolphins. That will send them into Tampa to face the Buccaneers. The Dolphins enter the second half trailing 14-7, but they're knocking on the door. Matt Moore is going to find Devon Best in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. That's going to knot things up at 14 apiece. It's Tampa's turn to respond. They have the ball back at their own 20-yard line after a touchback. Josh Freeman is going to look for Aurelius Ben, but that's Rashad Jones stepping in front of the pass, making the interception, getting Miami the ball right back. That's going to lead to this touchdown pass to Brandon Marshall, also in the back of the end zone. The Dolphins are actually going to miss this extra point. They take a 20-14 lead, and Tampa Bay could do nothing with the ball the rest of the way. 20-14 is the final score. Dolphins win. The Dolphins are going to move from one cul-de-sac to a larger cul-de-sac. They will take over the territory of the Buccaneers, and they're still in a spot on the map where if the wheel lands on them, there's only one place to go. With a quarter of the teams eliminated, we're going to be getting the champs on the field. The Giants go northwest to play the Eagles. Every time the Giants have been the reigning Super Bowl champions, they've gone one and done in Imperialism. Will that happen again against the so-called Dream Team on the road? The Eagles' rushing attack has been devastating the Giants to this point. at 14-3 in the second quarter. That shows no signs of slowing down. There goes LaShawn McCoy. No one's able to wrangle him. He scoots into the end zone for the long touchdown. That makes this game 21-3, and all game long the Eagles ran at will. The Giants started pouring on some points late to no avail. Philly wins this one 49-20. And that rushing attack reads like this. LaShawn McCoy, 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. Michael Vick, 122 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Giants, as champions, go one and done once again. The Eagles will take over their territory. It's a small land grab, but we now know that the Imperialism champion and the Super Bowl champion will be 2 different teams. The Philadelphia Eagles are getting right back on the field. This time, invading them will be the Baltimore Ravens, who will be in the uniforms of the Green Bay Packers. This was perhaps the sloppiest game in the history of Imperialism. This is our 46th season, and we've never seen so many fumbles. That's 4 already. This is going to be a 5th fumble. Now we're going to turn into the interceptions. That one is thrown by Michael Vick. This one is thrown by Joe Flacco. We're going to get another fumble. We're going to get another interception. We're going to get another fumble. I've lost track here. We're going to get another fumble at the goal line. Here at the end, though, the Ravens actually have a 20-7 lead. Ray Rice takes the draw up the middle and will score a touchdown. Through all these turnovers, there were some points scored. The Ravens were the biggest beneficiary of that. This touchdown puts them up 27-14, and 27-14 will be our final. Had to go back and count that one. 8 fumbles and 3 interceptions in total. Unbelievable. But in the end, the Ravens win. They will take over the territory of the Eagles, and we've now eliminated 10 teams from Imperialism. After getting in a decent bit of expansion, we're going to get the battle for California. The Chargers travel to San Francisco to face the 49ers. We've got a tie ball game in the fourth quarter, 21 apiece. The 49ers have it. Alex Smith drops back. He'll fire a perfect pass to Vernon Davis, who makes the catch in traffic. Taken down inside the 1. That leads to this touchdown pass to Michael Crabtree. That's going to make this a 28-21 game. And from here, the Niners offense and defense takes over completely. Another touchdown and 2 safeties makes this one a 39-21 final. The Chargers hung tight for 3 quarters, but the 4th was their undoing. The 49ers will take over their territory and claim all of California for themselves. This wheel absolutely loves the Falcons, and it was going to keep landing on them until they got a game. But this is a photo finish, and from here, we can't see if they have a game. So let's get a close-up photo finish and see that the Falcons, by the slimmest of margins, have found the territory of the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a very unlikely game this early on, but we expect it to be a good one. Atlanta at Detroit. The Lions are in the red zone, trailing 3-0 in the first quarter. Matthew Stafford is going to look across the field at Calvin Johnson. He will turn around and do the rest. He has been unstoppable during this Imperialism. The Lions lead 7-3. The Falcons are going to make their comeback, though. Stephon Logan is going to fumble this punt. The Falcons are going to scoop up the ball and run it back in for a touchdown. And they're going to follow up with this Roddy White diving touchdown catch. So the Falcons own the late first and second quarters. They take a 17-7 lead into the second half, but now it's the Lions' turn. This is Titus Young with this touchdown, and Calvin Johnson is going to get himself another one. The Lions own the third quarter. Their back-to-back touchdowns put them up 21-17. Let's go now to the fourth quarter. The Falcons facing a second and short in their own territory. This is Michael Turner up the middle. He's been shut down for the first 3 quarters of this game, but he makes up for a lot of that right there, a 26-yard gain. On the very next play, still trailing by 4, the draw goes to Turner. He cuts through the middle. They're giving chase. They get him, but he extends past the goal line for the touchdown. Michael Turner comes to life here and gives the Falcons the lead back at 24-21. Now Detroit have it on third down. They are inside their own 50. The quick pass, perfect pass to Calvin Johnson. He will do the rest. Calvin Johnson, his third 3-touchdown game of this imperialism. Detroit takes the lead back 28-20. The ensuing kickoff goes to Eric Weems. Takes it at his own 17-yard line, gets around some guys, avoids a diving tackle, a good return into Lions territory. On the very next play, this is going to be a draw to Michael Turner. He goes through the middle and around. Oh, he fumbles the ball. The ball is loose, but the Falcons pick it up. That's Todd McClure. He's the guy that scored the touchdown earlier on the fumble punt. He is everywhere. This run on first down to Turner picks up some yardage but can't get in. He dances too much on this one and can't get in. So it's now 3rd and goal, 1:17 to go. Turner gets his second redemption in the same game, having not done well the first 3 quarters, then fumbling in the fourth. Atlanta retakes the lead 31-28. 1:07 to go. Detroit have it at their own 30. They're going to run a reverse to TV star Nate Burleson, and this is going to work. He's going to get past midfield, but Detroit goes 3 incompletions and now face a 4th down. They figure, let's just get this ball in Calvin Johnson's hands and see what he can do. They meet him, but he breaks the tackle. He's off to the races. They're giving chase. They get him at the 11 and they take him down. And the Falcons have gone into Detroit in this seesaw of a game and win 31-28. Once again, based on how this map looks right now, without one of these teams expanding into Kentucky, this was a supremely unlikely matchup. But it happened and the Falcons won it. They will take over the territory of the Lions. We've only played 12 games, and we've had lots of thrillers. 20 teams now remain. For the second time, this wheel is going to send the Miami Dolphins on the road. In this case, they're going to Atlanta, who just came off that huge win. What do the Falcons have left in the tank? Not a whole lot, apparently. They trailed by 12 in the fourth quarter. The Dolphins are passing from inside the 1. Devon Best makes a diving touchdown catch. In reality, the only thing that kept Atlanta in this game as long as it did was holding Miami to field goals. They will add another one before Atlanta tacks on some points at the end. The Dolphins win in an upset, 29-20. We've seen it many times. A team wins a big game, has to get right back on the field, and can't do it again. The Dolphins will take over the Falcons' territory and escape the corner of the map. They're now capable of being invaded as much as they are of invading others. As we near the halfway point, the wheel will land on the Ravens. The arrow sends them southeast into the territory of the New York Jets. The Ravens are in control of this one, leading 7-0 already in the first half. This is a reverse to the speedy Torrey Smith. He finds the edge, beats the defender, and dives into the end zone for the touchdown. Baltimore goes up 14-0. They were actually up 21-0 by the end of the first quarter. It played out even the rest of the way, and the Ravens win it 31-10. It was the Ravens' defense that won them this game, especially Haloti Ngata. He was constantly breaking the line and getting into the Jets' backfield. The Ravens will take over the Jets' territory, ending any chance, however minuscule, that the Jets had to win this thing. This is going to be a close call between the Bengals and Seahawks. It just creeps into the Seahawk territory. They go south, but that dip east will take them into Arizona to play the Cardinals. We're tied at 10-10 in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks inside the 20. Tarvaris Jackson looks downfield, and then will settle for the check down to Sidney Rice. So much space in front of him. Rice takes advantage, runs it into the end zone. Touchdown Seattle. They now lead 17-10. The Cardinals are going to look to respond. They're back at their own 41-yard line. The handoff to Beanie Wells turns into a reverse to Andre Roberts. There's nobody in sight, and he's going to pick up a nice gain here, getting it down inside the 35-yard line, 25-yard gain. It's now first and goal. They're going to run the reverse again to Roberts. The defender takes a terrible angle, misses the tackle. Andre Roberts on the reverses gets into the end zone for the touchdown. We're now tied up at 17. The Seahawks are facing a third and long with only a minute 19 left. They're going to give to Marshawn Lynch, see what he can do with it. He breaks a tackle. He gets held up. The ball is loose. A minute to go in the game, but the Cardinals can't land on it. The Seahawks recover. They punt, and that will take us to yet another overtime game, tied up at 17 apiece. Arizona gets it first, but can't really get it going, so they got to bring out the punt unit. But here come the Seahawks. They will block the punt. Brandon Browner picks up the ball and runs it down to the 11-yard line, and the Seahawks will not waste any time, not bothering with the offense. They're going to bring out Steven Hauschka for the 29-yard field goal. Not a problem whatsoever. That's good, and the Seahawks go into Arizona and come out with a 20-17 overtime victory. The Seahawks are about a year away from really breaking out as a franchise, so this is a good appetizer for them as they head into those seasons. They will take over the Cardinals' territory, and they currently envelop all of California with a lot of open space around them as well. We head on back to the wheel. It's going to be landing on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to head to the west, right into the territory of their division rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals. A first half of punts and field goals leads us here. It's tied at 3 from the 15. Ben Roethlisberger finds Mike Wallace, makes a diving catch in the end zone. That end zone has been breached for the first time. This is a 10-3 game. The Steelers add one more and then play defense the rest of the way. 17-3 is our final score. Easy does it there for the Steelers. They will take over the Bengals territory, and our original field of 32 teams is now cut in half to 16. The wheel keeps threatening to land on the Ravens, but it will bypass them, hit the Packers instead. They're going to head to the west and face off with the Minnesota Vikings. This isn't a vintage Vikings team, but they always seem to step up in imperialism. How will they do against the top 5, 15-1 Packers? They're actually starting off pretty great. It's Percy Harvin doing all the damage, catching that YOLO pass from Christian Ponder, and another one gets a few more yards. Then he gets this touchdown. The Vikings in the first half are leading this game 17-7. The Packers add a touchdown. They go into the second half. They trail 17-14 now. Aaron Rodgers drops back the pass, takes off, hurdles a tackle, gets some good yardage here, gets some athleticism in there, turns on to speed, and he's going to run it all the way in for the 54-yard touchdown. The animation here thinks he threw it, but he ran it in. That was all part of a 28-3 run to end things. The Packers win this one 35-20. The Vikings put a scare in them, but in the end, the Packers win this going away. They will take over the territory of the Vikings, and one of our favorites has now taken the field and shown what they've got. The wheel lands on the 49ers. No reason to spin the arrow. They have to go to Seattle for this big rivalry game. It's been a defensive struggle to this point. One touchdown scored by the Niners defense. Seattle trying to catch up, down 10 in the fourth. This pass is intercepted by Carlos Rogers. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he is going to break all the way the second defensive touchdown of the game for the Niners. They go up by a score of 23-6. Their offense clicks a little bit in the fourth. They add one more, and they come away with a 30-6 victory. The Seahawks weren't quite ready for the 49ers in 2011, but over the next 3 seasons, this is the NFL's best rivalry. Until then, though, the 49ers will take over the Seahawks' territory, and they now own the entire West Coast. The Miami Dolphins have been on a good run, but now they're going to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. We're tied up at 7-all. The Dolphins have it deep in their own territory. We're in the second quarter. Matt Moore is going to try to squeeze this pass into Brandon Marshall, but Troy Polamalu is there for the interception, and he is shot out of a cannon, running it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. That's going to put them up 13-7. The extra point gets blocked. We now move on to the second half. The Steelers are driving. Ben Roethlisberger drops back. He's looking downfield, but he throws it short to Mike Wallace. He makes the catch. Heath Miller takes off running with him, blocks 2 guys, and Wallace's speed does the rest. What a play by Heath Miller downfield. Wallace will get the glory, though. It's now 20-7. Miami scraped back to make it 20-13, but the Steelers are in field goal range with a chance to put this away, except that Ben Roethlisberger throws this interception to Rashad Jones. We've seen him step up in this imperialism. Miami has a chance here, but they're facing a 4th and 3. This handoff goes to Reggie Bush. He's going to cut it inside and just get the first down. But now it's 4th and 20. Miami's not doing well, backed up in their own territory. Moore has time, throws it downfield, extending to make the catch is Brian Hartline. That's going to keep the drive moving. 55 seconds remain. Moore is going to be under pressure this time, but he gets it off to Hartline. That's another first down. Move those chains. 41 seconds to go. Moore, will he go for Hartline again? He will go for Marshall. He squeezes it in this time. We're down to just 26 seconds remaining. Can Miami complete this miracle? Moore has time, goes for Marshall. Touchdown, Miami. With 10 seconds remaining, that blocked extra point is haunting the Steelers now. What might they do here? Will they line up for the extra point, or will they go for 2? They're going to send out the kicking unit. They're going to go for the tie in overtime. Dan Carpenter lining up to tie the game. The Steelers are going to try to block it, but Carpenter gets it up and he gets it in. And for the 4th time this season, we're heading to overtime, tied at 20 apiece. From the Miami 43, the Steelers are punting. Here comes Miami to block it, but Sepulveda will get it off. Devon Best is going to return this from the 2-yard line. He gets a few yards. What an interesting play by Pittsburgh. I guess they trust their defense even after that collapse. Matt Moore goes to Brandon Marshall. Might we be seeing a replay? Time is not on their side, though. Only 41 seconds left. Moore drops back, tries to step up in the pocket, but Lamar Woodley will force this fumble. The Steelers scoop it up. They're going to try to run it back, but they get tackled. And with only 8 seconds left in overtime, here comes Scott Sweesum for the game-winning field goal. It's good. What a turn of events. Miami with the miracle comeback. Then they blow it in the end. Pittsburgh takes it in overtime. 23-20. That was some kind of game. Miami wasn't particularly a great team in 2011, but they gave us a lot of entertainment in this imperialism. The Steelers will take over their territory, and it's certainly a race between them and the 49ers for who has the largest piece of land. 9 of our 13 remaining teams have yet to play. That wheel chooses the Chiefs. They are one of those teams, and they're heading to Pittsburgh. So the Steelers just played an overtime game. They've got to get right back on the field. We've seen how that can go wrong sometimes. This wouldn't appear to be one of those times, though. The Steelers lead 14-0 in the third quarter. Ben Roethlisberger's having a picnic in the pocket. He's got all day. He will find Hines Ward for the touchdown. That will be Roethlisberger's third touchdown pass of this game to 3 different players. Pittsburgh goes up 21-0. They will pitch the shutout and win this game 31-0. These Chiefs aren't today's Chiefs. They're still going through some struggles with their franchise. They couldn't put up much of a fight here. The Steelers will take over their territory, and we've now eliminated 20 teams. The Steelers will now be taking the field for the 3rd straight game. They have to go to Green Bay in a rematch of the previous season's Super Bowl. How will this game play out? It's moving like this. The Steelers are dominating the ball, moving it in small chunks, and stifling the Packer offense. Here leading 14-0. Mike Wallace takes this reverse into the end zone. The Packer fans are silent. Pittsburgh leads 21-0. There were fireworks in the fourth quarter, but it was too late for the Packers. Pittsburgh wins 37-14. There's a lot of redemption available for this Steeler team. Not only overcoming the team that beat them in the previous season's Super Bowl, but what happened to them in the 2011 season where they got, quote, T-bowed in the playoffs. The Steelers pick up their 4th win. They will take over the Packers' territory, and our first top 5 team has now been eliminated. We're getting a close call on the wheel here. It's going to hit the Redskins. They're going to head to the northeast. That's going to take them on the road to face the Ravens, who are still in the uniforms of the Packers. We're tied at 7, still in the first quarter. This handoff goes to Ray Rice. He leaps out of the way of 2 would-be tacklers. He's able to take it to the house, giving Baltimore a 14-7 lead. From this point forward, the floodgates opened up. The talent gap is too much between these 2 squads. The Ravens win 44-7. We've had lots of close games this season, but for the 3rd straight game, we have one not so competitive. The Ravens will take over the Redskins' territory. We're down to 10 teams. Only 3 of them, the 49ers, Steelers, and Ravens, have won a game. In fact, they've won multiple games. 3 teams, the Cowboys, Bills, and Patriots, have expanded but not played. And 4 teams, the Broncos, Texans, Saints, and Browns, have yet to budge from their opening position. Of the 10 teams remaining, the wheel will select the Buffalo Bills. They're going to head down south. So now it's the Ravens' turn to take the field for consecutive games. Buffalo's hanging in there, only trailing by a field goal in the 3rd quarter. But from the 1-yard line, the Ravens are able to punch it in with Ray Rice. That will make this a 17-7 game. The Ravens defense just tears it up from this point forward. 17-7 is the final score. Buffalo waited a long time to make its debut, but it did so on the field of the Ravens. Baltimore will take over their territory. They're now sandwiched in between their biggest rival, the Steelers, and the team that knocked them out of the playoffs in 2011, the Patriots. Our next elimination gets us down to 8 teams. The Ravens are selected. They're heading east. We talked about how the Steelers were looking for redemption. The Ravens look for it too. In the AFC Championship game, Lee Evans had the game-winning touchdown ripped from his hands, and then Billy Cundiff missed an easy field goal. All of this, of course, against the Patriots, gifting them another Super Bowl appearance. Let's see how this game will turn out. New England trails 14-7, but they've got the ball in the red zone. The handoff up the middle to Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. That's Ed Reed popping the ball loose. The Ravens recover. They lead 14-7, and they've moved it to the 6-yard line. Joe Flacco, receiver screen. Torrey Smith, touchdown Baltimore. The back and forth goes forth again. It's 21-7. Baltimore will add another touchdown, and on the ensuing kickoff, Danny Woodhead is stripped of the ball by Jarrett Johnson. Baltimore will recover, and on the very first play, this touchdown goes to Torrey Smith. We haven't reached halftime yet. The Ravens lead this game 35-7. The Patriots got it going a little in the second half, but not nearly enough. Baltimore wins 42-28. It was in 2009 and 2012 that the Ravens went into New England and took care of business pretty handily during the playoffs. It happens here in Imperialism. The Ravens will take over New England's territory, and it looks inevitable that at one point Baltimore and Pittsburgh will get on the field for a massive game. It's finally time for some new blood on the field. The Houston Texans will be hosting our #1 ranked team, the New Orleans Saints. The Texans will be taking on the uniforms of the Buffalo Bills. Houston gets out to a 7-0 first quarter lead, and they're not relenting. This handoff off right tackle goes to Arian Foster. He breezes by the Saints defense for the touchdown. The Texans take a 14-0 lead, and surprisingly, they dominate the rest of the way and win this game 31-13. On the Saints' first play of offense, they lost tight end Jimmy Graham, who was an absolute monster in 2011, and that basically derailed their offense. The Texans will take over the Saints' territory, and in back-to-back games, our #2 and our #1 team have been eliminated. For the first time, the wheel lands on the Cleveland Browns. They've got nowhere to go. They've got to go to Pittsburgh and play the Steelers. Pittsburgh trailed 7-0 at the end of the first quarter and looked like they might be in trouble. That's no longer the case. Ben Roethlisberger finds Mike Wallace in the back of the end zone. That will extend the Steeler lead to 21-7, and whatever good feelings Cleveland had in that first quarter disappeared very quickly. Pittsburgh winds up running away with this one, 40-15. Sometimes teams last longer in Imperialism by virtue of the wheel missing them. That's what Cleveland did here, but the day of reckoning arrived. The Steelers will take over their territory. They've now eliminated all the teams in their division, except for the Ravens. Every team remaining was at least 500 in 2011. The Houston Texans are selected. They're heading to the northeast. The smallest area they could have hit was that of the Steelers, but that's what they do, and they're headed to Pittsburgh. We're scoreless in the first quarter, but the Steelers are driving. Ben Roethlisberger will throw this to Heath Miller. He gets the first down, but Brian Cushing will force the ball loose, and Houston will recover. They only get a field goal out of this, and the Steelers will punish them for it, specifically Mike Wallace. He scored that touchdown. He scores this touchdown. And the Steelers, despite another shaky beginning, go into the half leading 14-3. In the third quarter, Houston's looking to move it. They're facing a critical 3rd and 9. Matt Schaub is dropping back, looks for Kevin Walter, drops a wide open pass, but the Texans D does get them the ball back. This time, the pass is going to go to Ben Tate. He will make the catch, picks up a 30-yard gain. Houston now has 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. They're going to go to their reliable running back, Arian Foster, wiggles his way into the end zone, and we've got a ball game once again. Houston cuts the lead down to 14-10. They need their defense once again. Pittsburgh in Houston territory on 3rd and 10. Ben holds it too long. Connor Barwin will get the sack. So it's now Houston's ball. They're at their own 18-yard line. Matt Schaub will go back to Kevin Walter, and he gets some redemption for that drop earlier. 1st down in Pittsburgh territory. They've now got it to the Pittsburgh 27, under 4 minutes to go. Schaub fires into a crowd. Ike Taylor with the interception. Houston's defense can't come up with one more stop. Pittsburgh bleeds the clock. This field goal goes up and in with little time remaining, making the game 17-10. Pittsburgh's going to win it with that final score. The Steelers have shown a knack for blowing teams out this season, but they also won a close game in overtime earlier. This too was a close one. The Steelers will take over the Houston Texans territory. In the next 4 games, we're going to be crowning a 2011 Imperialism champion. It's about time to get the 2 newbies on the field. The wheel barely stays with the Broncos. They're going to head southwest, but a lot more south than west. That will take them to Dallas to face the Cowboys. On their first possession, the Broncos have been moving the ball on the ground, but Tim Tebow's going to throw, but instead DeMarcus Ware is going to get the strip sack. That loose ball is picked up by Kenyon Coleman. Tebow coming in to make the tackle, but he gets blocked down to the ground, and the Cowboys get on the board with their defense, 7-0. The Broncos defense has been holding steady, but here late in the first half, Dez Bryant gets away from them and scores the 35-yard touchdown. That's a bit of a backbreaker for the Broncos, as their offense hasn't been able to do anything with the ball until very late. Dallas gets a 21-7 victory. These were the Miracle Broncos, who went 8-8, won their division, and pulled a big upset over the Steelers in the playoffs. No miracles here in Imperialism. The Cowboys will take over their territory, and we're down now to a Final Four. 2 NFC teams in the West, 2 AFC teams in the East. We've been waiting for this game, and now we're gonna get it. The wheel lands on the Ravens. They head to the Southwest, so this intense rivalry will now take center stage at Imperialism. The Ravens travel to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The game started off defensively, but now we're tied at 7. This play action to Ray Rice leaves Anquan Bolden by himself. He will get in for the touchdown. The Ravens go ahead 14-7. Ray Rice has been slicing and dicing the Steelers. He continues that in the second half. This one actually turns into a laugher. Baltimore goes to Pittsburgh and wins this game 28-7. This will now mark another disappointing Imperialism for the Steelers. They get 6 wins. They're one of the all-time leaders in Imperialism wins, but they've only been able to close it out 1 time. The Ravens will take over their territory. They've yet to win an Imperialism, but with 3 teams remaining, they're in as good a position as anyone to do so. The map looks like it's set up for the Cowboys to have to play in the next game, but with some creative expansion, they might be able to backdoor their way into the title game. That last spin was so close, but it just clipped into the 49ers portion of the wheel, and the arrow will take them into Dallas to play the Cowboys. That will place the Ravens in their first ever Imperialism title game, and we have an intriguing matchup to find out their opponent. The Cowboys and Niners have a long-standing rivalry that has played out in Imperialism before, including their epic showdown in the 1994 edition. And these are 2 of the most successful teams in all of Imperialism. The Niners are the better team in 2011, but this exact game was played in Week 2 of the NFL season. and the Cowboys won it. Let's play this game to see who will go to the Imperialism Championship game. Behind a dominant defense, the Niners lead 3-0. We're still in the first quarter. Alex Smith throws the flare to Vernon Davis. He will break a tackle here and take it down to the 28-yard line. After a short run on first down, San Fran sets up at the 26. Alex Smith drops back the pass, looks downfield for Michael Crabtree, catches the ball, turns around, scores the touchdown, putting the Niners ahead 10-0. A score they're going to carry into the second half. The Cowboys have crossed midfield for the first time, but drop back to 4th and 13, and they can't get this punt off. That will lead to the Niners getting the ball. Frank Gore grinds out that first down run. He grinds out this first down run. Niners, though, are going to have to settle for a field goal. 33 yards out from David Akers. He puts it up, and it's no good. That will give Dallas some life. They have crossed midfield for only the second time. This is their deepest penetration. They're going to run a reverse to Dez Bryant. He's going to go and pick up a first down and a lot more. Dallas is cooking now. Bryant keeps going, gets it inside the 10-yard line, down to the 6. With time running out in the third quarter, they have 1st and goal. They're going to run DeMarco Murray off left end, and this was Murray's longest run of the game to this point, a 6-yard touchdown. Dallas has life. It's 10-7. Now in the fourth quarter, the Niners have grinded the ball down to the Cowboy 13. The pitch goes to Frank Gore. He finds the sideline, spins away, and will score this touchdown with 3 minutes remaining. The Niners go back up by 10 points, and their defense finds the dominance again, adding a safety and getting out of Dallas with a 19-7 victory. And looky here at this championship game. It's the 49ers and the Ravens, which is not only the Super Bowl matchup in the following season, it's a matchup of 13-3 versus 12-4, two division champions, the two conference championship game losers, both in heartbreaking fashion, and it's also the Harbaugh come 1 year early, and we will not be having any power outages here. Let's spin this wheel and find out who is going where. The wheel goes round and round, and it's gonna land on the 49ers. That means they have to travel across the country to face the Ravens in Baltimore. The Niners had to do this during the 2011 regular season on a short week, where they fell short in a flat performance. And of course, the Ravens beat them in Super Bowl 47 as well. Just a reminder, the Ravens will be in the uniforms of the Green Bay Packers. Baltimore searches for its first title in its first try, and the Niners go for number 5 in their record 10th try. It's time to play the 2011 Imperialism Championship game. The Ravens have it first. They're set up at their own 35-yard line. Joe Flacco is flattened by Justin Smith. That's a fumble. The ball is loose. No one's got it yet, but the Niners will land on it. Ray McDonald runs it back to the 14-yard line. On the very first play after the fumble, Alex Smith will drop back, has time in the pocket, fires to Michael Crabtree, and the Niners waste no time getting ahead in this game. They've jumped out to a 7-0 lead. Baltimore, already finding itself on the back foot, has driven the ball to the 37. They cannot run the ball in this game, so they're just taking to the air. Flacco has time, goes deep to Torrey Smith. That's a catch. He's held up at the 1. He hasn't gone down yet. He finally does. Now that they've gotten this deep, they will try to run it. This is Ray Rice, held up in the backfield. The Niners take him down for a 4-yard loss. Direct snap on second down. He's fighting, but no touchdown. On third down, they're going to try him again. He gets away, but he's down again. That will lead to a field goal. 7-3 Niners, they have it. Alex Smith steps out from the pocket, throws a wickedly accurate pass to Michael Crabtree, getting them down inside the 10. They fall into 3rd and 8 though. They can't run the ball either. Smith looks toward the end zone. Tight end Vernon Davis will make the catch. And the Ravens defense, which has been so dominant, has given up 2 first-quarter touchdowns. It's 14-3. The Niners have it again, looking to maybe step on their throats here in the first half. Smith goes deep to Ted Ginn, makes the catch at the 5, but Ed Reed will force the ball loose. Maybe a game-saving forced fumble there. The Ravens get a pretty decent return out of it, but the offense is going nowhere. It's 3rd and 15. Joe Flacco throws quickly to Ed Dickson. That's not going to get it done. It's now 17-13 in the 3rd quarter. Niners trying to put it away again. Frank Gore is hit by Ed Reed once again. Reed, a one-man hero here, gives the Ravens the ball back. They need to do something with this ball. On the first play, they're at the Niner 45. Play action. Flacco will go to Anquan Bolden, extends out to make the catch. Oh, a better throw would have been a touchdown, but he gets it down to the 3. They lose yardage on first down. It's now 2nd and 5. The Niners will back up the defense. Baltimore changes the play. It goes to Rice. He has actual space in front of him, and he runs it in. So the Ravens have been facing all kinds of issues in this game, yet they've got it down to a 17-10 game. The Niners are stuck back at their own 24-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Smith will go to Crabtree. Crabtree dives, makes the catch in Baltimore territory. The Niners will continue this drive. They're at the Baltimore 12-yard line. A 3rd quarter's ticking away. Smith steps up, quickly throws to Ted Ginn. He will run it in for the touchdown. 3 touchdown passes by Smith to 3 different players. It is 23-10 where it will stay because Baltimore blocks this extra point. So 14 points will get it done for them. They're facing a 3rd and 17. Flacco drops back. He's holding it too long. Here comes Justin Smith. His 3rd sack of the game. He'll add a 4th. The Niners will add a field goal. They come away with a 26-10 victory. And with that victory after a 16-year absence, the 49ers once again rule the United States of America. This was their record-breaking 10th appearance in the title game. They're more than a 20% chance to get there, and they've now tied the Vikings as 5-time imperialism champions. It was never going to be the Giants at the end of this imperialism, and they indeed went one and done. But so too did the Patriots. We did get 2 top 5 teams in the title game though, as the 49ers and the Ravens arrived there 1 year earlier than their showdown in the actual Super Bowl. The Ravens became the 3rd team in a row to make their debut in the title game following the Falcons and the Titans. But like those teams before them, they didn't close the deal. The 49ers took the title, and this is the roster they did it with. They presented a balanced offense with Frank Gore leading the running game and Alex Smith leading the passing game with a couple of excellent pass catchers in Michael Crabtree and Vernon Davis. Davis also contributed to this awesome offensive line with Joe Staley and Mike Iupati on the left side. Iupati was the first lineman in this imperialism to completely neutralize Haloti Ngata of the Ravens, allowing the Niners to get work done in the title game. But this defense is something else. Justin Smith was always effective and often unstoppable. Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman owned the middle of the field, and Carlos Rogers anchored a top-notch secondary that included the bruising safety combination of Deshaun Goldson and Dante Whitner, a top-to-bottom unit with nary a weakness to be found. 2 things stand out about the scores in this season's imperialism. First was the spate of close games, highlighted by 4 overtime games. As we shift to the second half of games, the other standout item is the success of road teams, with 18 out of the 31 games played won by the Invaders. On their way to the championship, the Niners won 3 straight games on the road, allowing a grand total of 23 points in those games. The top teams at the beginning of this season were the Falcons and the Lions, each notching 3 wins. After they went out, it was the Steelers and the Ravens, with each notching 6. But the Niners, with their 4 wins and 0 losses, top the rankings, and they come in third in the overall ranking, sitting on the edge of 70 wins. Dallas hit that 70 win mark this season, but they both remain looking up at the Vikings and their 72 wins. The Steelers scream up the standings at 66, but they still search for their second title. Thank you so much for joining us today and making it here to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do the YouTube thing, like, share, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications on all future videos, imperialism or otherwise. One last look for the 5th time at the 49ers States of America. They will bring back a stacked team in 2012 as well, as they seek to become the first team to win back-to-back titles twice, and to become the first team to win Imperialism 6 times. There will be plenty of other teams standing in their way though. We look forward to having you here for that one. Thank you once again for joining us today, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.